Without oil changes, your engine fails miserably. And without regular maintenance, so too does your business's positioning. In this video, we're going to talk about positioning. We're going to talk about what it is, why it's important, why it's always changing, and what 4 things you can do to make certain it's always pulling its weight. You know, there's an issue when prospects say things like, wow, sounds interesting, but then they ghost you. Or when you lose to competitors who are in no way as good as you are. Or maybe your sales cycle has just slowed to a crawl. Those are the equivalent warning signs of the lights that come up on your dashboard when something's wrong with your car, or as my friend Ken calls them, icons. Ken is not much of a car person. Those signs are telling you that your positioning is in danger. It is out of whack. And fixing them isn't just about tweaking taglines, just as putting oil in your car isn't just about getting rid of that light on your dashboard. It's about protecting the investment you've made in your business in all areas of your business. Why? Positioning is one of those situations where you really could use a 4-year-old kid to continually ask, why? 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 I mean, we inherently know it's important, but sometimes we forget why it is. Kind of like having kids in general. I mean, I know there's a reason, but sometimes I just can't remember what it is. Anyway, positioning has one job, and that is to create a clear distinction between what you offer and what everyone else does. And notice I did not say a distinction of the best option, because focusing exclusively on being the best suggests that you want to work with everyone. And I don't know about you, but there are definitely some types of clients that I do not care to work with. And by focusing on what makes my business different, sense of humor, pragmatism, creative problem solving, being gay owned and operated, that means that the ultra serious, the ultra process oriented, the ultra conservative folks probably will not want to learn more. And I am A-okay with that. By the way, like many aspects of branding, this one applies to talent management as well. Even in competitive job markets, you are positioning your opportunities relative to other employers and to different types of hires. Positioning is kind of like chess, which I know is a tired metaphor, but cut me some slack here because this one actually works. As you make a move, everyone else repositions themselves to counteract yours. The trouble starts when you place your knight in one square, so to speak, and refuse to move it. And unlike chess, you have to stay on top of your positioning relative to a handful of competitors, not just one opponent. Positioning is always changing. At least it should be, because everything is always changing. Your competitors, their offerings, your offerings, market conditions, customer expectations, and values. Anything changes, that means that your positioning might have to change too. That's the trap that a lot of people fall into. They think it's this one and done kind of exercise where they work really hard on their positioning, they take a deep breath, and then they slam the lid closed down on that business development car. The next thing they know, it's 2 years later and that engine is dead. At best, everyone in the market sounds the same. At worst, they all sound better. Positioning, as the name suggests, is about your position where you stand in your audience's mind relative to everyone else. So step 1, map where your competitors already stand. And here are some ways to do that. First, you will need to start with some sort of an audit. And I know I talk about messaging audits constantly, but for good reasons. They are a really powerful tool. They look at what you and your competitors are saying, how you say it, and the way you look when you're doing it. Now, that last one isn't just about aesthetics, because it could present a real opportunity for you. If your competitor, for example, is using bright colors and edgy fonts, it might mean that they're going after a younger, less conservative audience, and that might be an opportunity for you, or vice versa. You can download our free DIY messaging audit guide. The link is in the comments, and it will walk you through the same steps we take when we create an audit for our clients. And if it feels overwhelming, let us know. We can do one for you too. All right, moving on. It will probably come as no surprise to you that market research is an integral tool here. Conduct some online customer research, some surveys, or in-person focus groups. And in that case, it's best to bring in a professional because that investment will pay for itself and you will get much more actionable insights from it. Remember, if you're positioning yourself as the place to work, the same principles apply here. Talk to your current team to understand what they think makes you an employer of choice. You might even want to talk to candidates who turned you down to find out why they went with someone else. All right, number 3, a scatter chart. Select 2 consumer priorities, say price and customization, or maybe it's cost of ownership and longevity. Create horizontal and vertical continua and place your offering and your competitors somewhere on that 2-axis graph. By looking at what you do best and is needed most relative to your competitors, you can find some sweet spots that might just distinguish you from everyone else. Finally, rinse and repeat, as they say. Schedule this exercise annually and stick to it. And if something radical changes in between these yearly checkups, well, dive back in. Could be something like a new innovation or some paradigm shift. Know this, we all struggle with positioning. When it works, it's great. But as others reposition themselves around us, ours becomes less effective. If you want to keep your business development machine running, your positioning requires the same standard maintenance as your car. All right, that's it for this video. If you liked it, you know the drill. Hit like, hit subscribe, tell all your friends, and then come back for more videos later. And of course, stay on brand.